Sunday was a bit of a unproductive day. Well, a bit of a waste of time day, really. We've got very little progress in this vehicle. Couple of things. I'll show you the exhaust and the fuel pipe problem. One of the problems we had was this gearbox transmission, automatic transmission cooler. I gave Mark this, came off a good Range Rover, if there is such a thing. Pipes are good, everything's good, length's good, no problem at all, except it doesn't really fit. Now, you see these pipes here, well, they hook over there like that. This is, like I said, this is meant for a Range Rover, not for a Defender. So that's how it's supposed to go, right? Now the problem is, he's got new pipes here for the power steering, feed and return to go from the steering box. Well, the pipes go behind here. Can you see? I don't know, maybe you can. The pipes go here. Now the problem with that is that, like I said, it's too tight. Where would it be now? Here. Here, it's too tight here. I suggested move the reservoir from there, put it over there, and then all you need, you've got the pressure hose here, all you need is a pipe coming from here, the 300 TDI one, to go up to here to feed your left-hand drive steering box, and the return hose, I've got one in stock. It goes down here, up here, and bypasses all these pipes and rubbish. But I think what he wants to do is cut the pipes on this here and put these rubber hoses on and fittings to go to the gearbox. Now the gearbox didn't have the fittings to go into the gearbox. I don't know why. I don't know anything about this project, but he went down to the local hydraulic shop and found this fitting that goes into the ZF box, and then he's going to have to put another two adapters on that to turn it to 90 degrees to get the pipe out, because it's very tight. So I don't know. I'm only offering suggestions, but you know, they've got to get the radiator in this and the electric fans, and then he's going to put the air conditioning in with the electric fans. It's going to be very, very busy at the front of here to take apart and find out that something doesn't work properly. I don't know. It doesn't fit, you know. Like, I mean, this how do we say? This cooler is about this much too short. It wants packing up. Another little job to do. Let's go and have a look at the tank. So yesterday we put this pipe on here. I showed you how to do that. That was really easy, not a big problem. But 10mm pipe. Now what he's trying to use, or what he wants to use, is this piece of pipe here, which is a smaller 8mm pipe, which is the return pipe from the engine back to the tank here. I suggested, well, why not just fit, you know, two 10mm pipes and be done with it? Because these pipes, as you can see here, have got all sorts of manner and means of pre-made bends in, which are kind of not so easy to get out. And then we had problems of, well, how are we going to connect it to the engine? These fittings here, as you know, you can't really buy them individually. See these ones? You can buy the nuts, you can buy the olives, but you can't get that. So you have to salvage them from old pipes. Well, okay, that's doable, that's not a problem. But the problem came is, I said to Mark, well, where's the fuel filter? Before we put the tank in, where's the fuel filter? And he didn't have one. Well, it's in Chateauguay near Montreal, so he drove there last night to go and pick up the fuel filter. Now, as far as I know, the fuel filter should go around here somewhere. It shouldn't go in the engine compartment, and you want easy access to change the filter. You know, I think the Range Rover ones went up here. That's not really a big deal, but somewhere around there. The tanks aren't the easiest thing to get in and out, I must admit. So you can see that's why it's on top of my toolbox. So we can push it in, drop the body down and fasten it all up, and it's really, really easy to do. But we haven't got a fuel filter, so we can't cut the pipe and then work out where these pipes are going to run, because the original pipes went on top of the chassis. Well, as you can see, there isn't a great deal of room to fasten pipes down. You can get the pipes in. You can see that's why this cross member here has got a little notch in it, and there's a little notch over there. So he's going to go down the side, and he's going to have to fasten them on with P-clips, you know, the insulated rubber P-clips. That's not a problem. Everything can be overcome if you've got the bits. I'll tell you about that in another video. So let's have a look at the exhaust. So here we are under the vehicle, and you can see some of the conundrums that we've got. Or Mark's got. These cars have got catalytic converters in them. And this cat here, let's turn it around a bit like that. Look, that one's flat and that one's almost round. And the reason it's flat is because the front prop shaft on these V8s was a solid bar instead of a tube, because the prop can catch on the exhaust or get very, very close to it. I don't know if he's realised that yet. We have to wait and see, because this is a bit of a bits of vehicle. It's bits of this and bits of that. So that is reason why we put the ECU under the wing, because trying to get the wiring round to get to here, which is where let's turn that around. See, through that grommet there, there's going to be a hell of a long way to put the wiring harness, and it wasn't long enough. So, and even when he finished it, I don't think it was long enough. So anyway, we decided to put it under the wing. I said, put it under the wing. It's out the way, it's out the water, and if you want to mess about with it, then you can. It's very tidy underneath and stuff like this. But you can see what like the jumble of wires that has to be tidied up. I don't know, but anyway, let's go back to this main subject of this exhaust. I don't know. I'll let Mark play around with that. I'll just offer information. V8 exhaust. The system was actually like a stainlessy steel type material. That's pretty good. They didn't really rust out. The cats used to fall to bits. Well, that's a different story. Well, they used to rattle inside the cages. That's a big flange, and Mark has a 300 TDI exhaust system, a stainless one, that was on this original truck. And what he wants to do is fit this to this engine. I don't know. So what was the mess about yesterday was between here and here was a silencer, but I couldn't get it to fit. Two reasons. I worked out that the exhaust, this pipe here, from there to there, was actually, let's move that light a bit, was actually 2.5 inches too long. So we were fighting against these mounting brackets, and he's got a mounting bracket up there, but you can see this exhaust system had a mounting bracket there, which is a different angle. I think this is an American style exhaust, I'm not sure. But the silencer in the middle here was kind of small, and the flange was a completely different design. It was like this, if you see what I mean, and the flange bolts were too narrow, so they wouldn't go through there. So it needed a bit of chopping and changing around to get that all to fit. But herein lies another problem, because the silencer in here on a TDI would be quite small, and it was quite small. The reason for that is that when you've got a turbo, it chops the sound, so you'd not put in as much sound through your exhaust, so therefore it doesn't need a big silencer. But these V8s are going to be very noisy if you put it through a 300 TDI silencer, in my opinion. And if you want a car that's nice to drive, the last thing you want to do is listen to a big roaring exhaust all day long. So I've left it to him. He just gets the parts. I just give information. He bolts it on. You can see another sort of problem here, because that handbrake cable has to be tied up here with a shield around it to protect it from the exhaust heat, because it's going to get bloody hot. You know, all these wires need tidying up. Yeah, but that's the problem with the exhaust. It's going to be noisy, and driving one of these around with a roaring. It's nice to hear in a car park, vroom vroom, you know, all that palaver. But I don't think it's going to be comfortable to drive. Anyway, that's my opinion. But I think he's going to go down and get this exhaust cobbled up somewhere. But I just said, why don't you just get a V8 system and be done with it? You know, even if it's a stainless one or a steel one. You could get one, if you took the whole car down to to an exhaust shop, not a body shop, they could make a full system, copy that piece. Well, you don't need, well, yeah, you could copy that piece and make a big silencer to go in here. And then again, you've got to protect this floor space, because this is going to get hot as well. It's all going to get hot. But you see, that, you know, like I say, look at the maintenance on these just to change the filter in the automatic transmission involves taking the manifold off and taking that cross member out. I remember Mark saying to me he had a hell of a job trying to get the cross member in, because he didn't have a spreader to spread the cross member, spread the chassis to drop that down. And of course, when you've got an older Land Rover, the studs up there usually snap off. You see the 3 bolts. And again, the exhaust is very close to the starter, so this wire here and a tie wrap ain't gonna cut the mustard, and these wires here need tidying up. I think it had like a fiberglass type exhaust shield to go over there, but yeah, that's not going to work out too right. Doug, when he fitted the engine and gearbox, he fitted just a temporary hose, you know, to stop dirt getting in, and if you did fire it up, it would just loop back round without spewing all its oil out. But that's got to be rectified, and as I said earlier, that comes from the front, and we've got to get the oil pipes down here as well, next to that exhaust. It's going to be some fun, eh? Oh, and then there's the anti-roll bars to fit in as well. Let's have a look and see how close this is here. See, look how close it is to the chassis. Yeah, that's going to get hot. Yeah, that needs doing. What else? Oh, he needs to change the knock sensor up there. We mentioned that the knock sensor was a problem. It's had a rough road system fault, sorry, not a system. He had a rough road fault, and that's one of the knock sensors. He'd replaced the one he said on this side. These were absolute fortune. I think Mark said they were about $300 a piece. I just found 2 in my parts box the other day. But he needs to change those up there, and he couldn't get that one out. So, but you can see there again, there's the factory heat shield to protect that. So, you know, it's not too bad. Yeah, you can see there, look at that, look how close the wire is there to the exhaust. It should run underneath there. See, all these little details you've got to do. And I don't really want this truck here for a long time. I don't want it here on the ramp. I've got other jobs to do. I've got a 109. Is it a 109 coming in? For pre-inspection. Yeah, that should be fun. All the rest of it's quite good. You know, I spent a lot of money on it. We'll come to that in a different video. Yeah, you can see those engine mounts now a bit more clearly. See, there's only 3 M8 bolts either side holding the old bloody engine in. It's a good idea. It's a very good idea, because you can then use one chassis and just buy the engine mounts to suit. 300 TDI, V8, whatever you want. It's a good idea. I don't know why Land Rover never came up with that idea. Yeah, so there's work in progress, and it's going to take a bit of money to throw at this. we got the linkages all sorted out, which was, you can see up here, that's all sorted. But you couldn't do that without taking the floor and the tunnel out. Anyway, we'll see what he says when he comes back. But the customer's always right, whatever he wants to do. But as long as I'm not doing it. See you later.